All right, here we go. We are going live. Going live on our crypto chat. Just gonna wait for a few moments. Let everyone get in here. Let's get started here. There we go. Looks like we got 2 people in here. Welcome, welcome. Going to be getting started here momentarily. Got so much to talk about today. It's going to be crazy. This is going to be, I'm actually testing out a new format. I'm calling it my crypto live stream. Let me see if I can do that. How does that work? I guess I'm calling it my crypto live stream or my crypto Saturday stream. I don't know. I'm thinking about trying out, good morning, Manny. I'm thinking about, appreciate you being here, Manny. I'm thinking about testing out a kind of a longer format, maybe doing a live stream one Saturday and just covering a whole bunch of content. I've got a lot to talk about today. We're going to be talking about Bitcoin. We're going to be talking about Bitcoin hitting 10,000. We're going to be talking about the Facebook Libra cryptocurrency token. We're going to be talking about some deflationary tokens that are out there, some updates in the Dapp space. We've got a lot to talk about today. It's going to be a lot of fun. XRP Hodler says, "What's up with Pokertron? Another 30 to 45 days before divs." You know what, XRP? I don't even know. I don't know if you were on my live stream I did. I think week before last. I don't even know if they're gonna. I don't even know if it's gonna happen. I mean, someone said that there's not even the appropriate Tron in the wallet to pay out. That's the thing in this Dapp space, man. It's nutty. So we'll see. I mean, I checked it today. I think in a week it's moved 1%. So by that logic, it could take many weeks before that thing moves. Bitcoin for live classes in session. This is going to be, hey, I'm testing out a new format. Fellas, let me know how you like it. I'm thinking about starting like a Saturday live stream show, essentially, is what I'm thinking about doing. And I'm just, because there's so much that I want to talk about in this space all the time. I could be going live 2 or 3 times a day. And some of you that have been a part of my channel or long-time subscribers, which by the way I appreciate you. You've been out there here for a while. You've seen me go live 2 or 3 times, or you've seen me put up videos 2 or 3 times in a day. It just takes up more time. I feel like the shorter videos are a little bit more consumable, but at the same time, I often get comments where people ask, "Hey Paul, welcome." I oftentimes get comments where people ask if if I would do some live, longer format streams because they listen to it when they're driving in the car or whatnot. Cornell said, "I'm a follower of your free crypto guide. I've been doing it for 2 months. Is it normal it goes slow, or am I doing something wrong? Thanks for all the videos." Cornel, you need to ask me more questions. If you're talking about CryptoTab browser is slow. If you're talking about Blaze, then Blaze can definitely go a little bit fast. In fact, I'm going to talk about that today. I actually made like $73 in Tron today from Blaze. That's nuts. That's nuts. In fact, I'll show you that really quickly. And Cornelius talking about the my passive crypto passive income strategy. The links down in the description of the live video. But Tron is we'll talk about this in a moment. But we've hit Bitcoin's over 10,000 right now, which means Tron's up a good bit today, about 10%. So we're at 3.6 cents on Tron. Let's see where we're at now. I did this a minute ago. Let's test it out. Is that right? Is that up to date? Yeah. Let's hit a refresh, make sure this number's right. And if I sniffle a little bit, everyone, I apologize. Everyone in my household is sick. Yeah, $74 worth of Tron today. Actually, I think it was about 21 plus in dividends from Blaze. I mean, that thing, last week the dividends were low, which means I was getting about 600, 800. That's still 22 USD a day. I mean, you cannot, I don't care who you are, that's crazy. And that is the most stable, that has the most long-term potential of any Dapp anywhere right now, hands down, bar none. Reason being is because it's a sustainable game, and they've had some major updates, and we'll get to that a little bit later in the stream. But let's go ahead and get started while we're here. Nerdy Dude said he got $5. Good job, Alpha One. Good to see you back. Thank you, Alpha One. I appreciate it. Believe it or not, while I was gone, I got word I got to travel tomorrow, early tomorrow morning. I've got a meeting on a Sunday. In the 15 plus years I've been an entrepreneur, Sundays has always been my day that don't do any work whatsoever. And all of a sudden I got this major meeting I got to do on a Sunday tomorrow. I thought that's just nuts, but it'll be all right. Let's talk about it. Bitcoin, 10,000 USD, $10,000 USD. Now, if you've been watching my channel, you know that I believe long-term Bitcoin is going to hit $1 million or more. I don't think there's any way that it doesn't, as long as cryptocurrency, as long as a decentralized cryptocurrency ultimately becomes the world's currency, which I believe that there's a strong possibility that's going to happen one day, then I believe that Bitcoin will have $1 million USD valuation in today's buying power. Now, I just saw a video last night. There's a really good video out. I don't remember the exact name of it or whatever, but someone's put a good video. It's a smaller channel. The guy that has less than 10,000 subscribers, but it's a well done kind of documentary on Bitcoin going to 10 million USD. And he built a pretty sustainable case for it, and I could see it happening for sure. And so the fact that we're at 10,000 headed back up, that's good news. Now, what does that mean? I want to talk about this for a moment, because most of what you see in the YouTube land is all these people giving technical analysis. You know, where do we go from here? And they've got their charts, their fancy schmancy charts, and the whole nine yards. Listen, either I'm not smart enough for that, or I'm right and they're wrong. But I think most of that charting stuff is nonsense. I think most of it is reverse looking. I'm not saying that it's all bad and it's not. I mean, if you're looking to, here's when I would use charting or a little bit of technical analysis. And this is when I do use a little bit of technical analysis. It's when I am personally trying to figure out where I want to buy in at. If I'm not doing typical, part of my investing strategy is I'm always buying a little bit. I'm always buying, especially Bitcoin. But if there's ever a time that I'm like, you know what, I want to put in a larger amount than normal, then sometimes what I'll do is I'll look for, a little bit of TA for like an entry point. But the reality is this: do I think that it is that big of a deal? Do I think it's somehow super accurate? I really honestly, and you can probably unsubscribe from here, but I really honestly don't think that it is. I don't think it's that big of a deal, technical analysis. It just makes me feel better about having an entry point. That's my bottom line. So that for Cornel, I'm not there yet. But by the way, I use CryptoTab on mobile as well, Cornel. Wow, nerdy dude stuff said I buy $10 a week of Bitcoin for my twins, $5 each. They can have it when they're 18. Shoot, that might wreck their life at 18, especially if it goes up. I mean, that your twins are newborns. So nerdy dude, that's an interesting plan. I love that nerdy dude stuff. I'm gonna repeat what he said because I love this. I want to talk about this for a minute. He just got highlighted on the show. Sorry, I was pulling it back up. I messed it up. He said that he buys $10 a week of Bitcoin for his twins. Now, if you don't know this, he has 2 newborn twins. You should check out his channel, by the way, Nerdy Dude Stuff. He always talks about fun Dapp space, fun stuff in the Dapp space and the Bitcoin space. But he says he buys $10 a week of Bitcoin for his newborn twins, who aren't more than a couple months old probably, every week. So that's $20 a month he's buying for each one of them. They can have it when they're 18 years of age, but they've got almost 18 years. So who knows where we're going to be at in this space in 18 years. Like that could be a life-altering, 11 weeks old. 11 weeks old, that is precious. That means he's not getting a lot of sleep. 11 weeks old, that's awesome. That's awesome. Go check out Nerdy Dude Stuffs. I love that because, listen, I've always heard of people putting back like silver or buying gold or whatever for kids, because they believe it's going to do something. But this is the first time that I've seen someone say something about doing that with cryptocurrency. I think that is awesome. And here's the thing: it's a small amount that if we're all wrong and this stuff goes to crap, then it ain't going to ruin his life or nothing. But the potential. See, here's what I like about the cryptocurrency space. It is high risk. As optimistic as I am on Bitcoin and Ethereum and XRP. Wait, did I say XRP? Sorry. Bitcoin and Ethereum. XRP hodler, that was for you. Anyway, Bitcoin and Ethereum. If I, as much of a bull as I am on cryptocurrency in general, there is a possibility that this whole thing goes to crap. 100%. There's a real possibility this whole thing goes to crap. And the reason that it would crumble, the reason that it would fall, the reason that it would fail, I don't think digital currencies are going to fail. I actually think it's something like the Facebook Libra that could cause it to ultimately fail. And I'll get to that in a moment. I do not personally consider Facebook Libra true cryptocurrency, and I'll explain why in a moment. And if you don't know what Libra is, that's the new cryptocurrency coin that's launching in 2020. It doesn't mean that somebody's not going to make some money on it. It doesn't mean that you can't speculate on it. It doesn't mean that at all. But I think it's horrible when it comes to the true spirit of cryptocurrency. Put it this way: if Bitcoin had been Facebook Libra, Bitcoin may have never existed, because everything that Bitcoin represents, all the reasons that Satoshi originally created Bitcoin, the Facebook Libra has almost none of that. So, and that's saddening to me. Like, it saddens me a lot that there is a possibility. If the world was forced to use some sort of cryptocurrency, most people would not use Bitcoin. Most people in developed countries, let me rephrase that. In developed countries, most people would not use Bitcoin because they don't want to have to secure their own cryptocurrency. They don't want privacy, and anonymity to the level that cryptocurrency can provide. When you look at Facebook Libra, there's practically no privacy there, which is a little bit scary that I don't think anyone's thinking about yet. But it's okay. I mean, it's a centralized currency, and there's a good video right here. I'm going to show you something. This YouTuber, Michael, used to be called Box Mining back in the day, still is called Box Mining. Back in the day, Michael and Box Mining, he was one of the first major YouTubers that I started watching. And mainly it's because back then everybody was using Genesis Mining. He was a big Genesis Mining guy back then. I actually was one of his original subscribers when he had like 900 subscribers. This dude is at 194,000. So he's enjoyed a good ride. He's enjoyed a good ride for sure in the crypto space. Am I subscribed? I'm subscribed to him now. I don't use the bell notification icon. For a while I was unsubscribed from him, but he does. Let me tell you what he does good. There's a couple things I don't like about his channel, but I'm going to focus on what I like about his channel, and I'm going to focus on what I like about him discussing Facebook Libra. And if you don't fully understand Facebook coin, or Facebook Libra as it's going to be called, or Libra as it's going to be called, I'd come watch this 13-minute video. Don't watch it now. Just bookmark it and come back to it. We got a lot of things to talk about. And I would love to get some of your feedback on this stuff. I mean, Cheetah definitely likes Facebook Libra. I said Cheetah. Anyway, so his video is very good, and it talks about the pros and the cons. And one of the things that he says is one of the positives is this could get more people using cryptocurrencies, learning to use digital wallets, and this could be one step towards ultimate adoption of something like Bitcoin. I think he's right, but at the same time, the risk is that people, those of us who believe in decentralization, the risk is that people are going to hold on to the centralized, controlled cryptocurrency as opposed to something that is fully decentralized. One of the most fearful things about Facebook, hang on just a moment. Sorry, I grabbed a sip of, throat's a little bit dry. Grabbed a sip of Diet Mountain Dew. That's what I'm drinking. Nerdy dude stuff. It's not a pale superstar brown winter cool snappy orange lemon ale. That's an inside joke for me and Nerdy. He's always drinking something, some cool beer. But anyway, one of the things he talks about on Facebook, which is really scary if you think about it for just a moment, Cornel, that's funny. Nerdy dude stuff, but is it worth it? So here's the thing. Here's the thing about the Facebook Libra. The Facebook Libra coin, people don't understand. Like, privacy is an issue, and we're in a weird place in society where, at least in America, the fundamental basis of all of your rights come down to your right to privacy. If you don't have a right to privacy, then if you don't have privacy as a citizen, then it becomes very difficult to ever protest or rise up against a government. Like, that's a problem. Like, that is a real problem if you ever needed to get to that place. All you got to do is look at China, and you got to look at how they're protesting there. They're wearing all these masks, and they're using umbrellas and stuff. And if you've seen pictures of those protests and you don't know why they're doing it, it's because the government has facial recognition cameras everywhere, and they keep entire electronic files on your movements and what you're doing. And so they know that the government's tracking to see who exactly is protesting, and that's a form of control. So thankfully in America and currently in most parts of Europe, that's not an issue yet. But it doesn't mean that in the next 50, 100 years, 200 years, that wouldn't become an issue. It doesn't mean in many of our kids and grandkids' lifetimes that that's going to become an issue. Um, XRP Hodler says Libra is the foundation for a social tracking network like they have in China. I actually think, yeah, you're right. I even think it's bigger than that, much bigger than that. Currently in China, everything is driven off of facial recognition software, and they track your actions. And there's some interesting documentaries on that. And you're given basically what amounts to a good citizenship score if you are caught doing good things or negative things, etc. And that affects the price you pay for, a lot of things. Your cost of groceries can go up. You try to book airfare. If your social score is too low, you can't book first class airplane tickets. You can't buy them at a discount. Like, this is a real thing. This is already happening in society. So the potential for abuse is crazy. The other issue is once you get rid of privacy in society, it's much, much harder to get it back. And some people say things like, some people will say things like, some people say things like, the genie's already out of the bottle, we already don't have privacy. That's not 100% true. Yes, there's a lot of areas that we don't have privacy, but they're doing everything they can. There's always a strong movement, and the movement isn't necessarily about political control. First and foremost, it's about business profits. It's the same reason Facebook and Google tracks everything you do online, is it's about creating algorithms that advertisers like myself, by the way, use to be able to target better advertising. Here's what they tell the consumer. It makes advertisements more relevant to you. Here's what they tell to the marketer. It makes advertising convert better because we're sending it directly to people who are more likely to buy your stuff, more likely to want your stuff, more likely to be interested in your stuff. So all this stuff is primarily driven by profits and catering to corporations. But once the genie's out of the bottle, I mean, if a government entity says, hey, just, we want these records for whatever reason, almost every company is going to comply. So it doesn't start out, it's not like, I'm not this big government conspiracy theorist that thinks like, oh my goodness, we're all going to get controlled and we're going to be squashed by our governments. However, I do believe that abuse is possible. What I am, first and foremost, is I love freedom, and I want us to be as free as possible in society. I love freedom to decide what to do with your life. I love freedom to decide what to do with your money, your finances. Those are your decisions, and it's not my place to tell you what to do, and it's not your place to tell me what to do. That is the cornerstone of what I believe. I believe this so strongly that my daughter's name is Liberty. That's a true story, by the way. I refuse for people to call her nicknames because that is so incredibly powerful. That her name is so powerful, and it's literally something that liberty in and of itself may one day, unfortunately, become something that is used to identify people who have a belief system and far less likely to identify any society in our culture. Now, by the time if we have a full-on economic revolution, like I think we may have one day when Bitcoin hits $1 million or $10 million in value, and I think that we're headed to that direction. But if that happens, then the reason that it will ultimately happen will be because people start to wake up. They'll realize government abuses, or they'll realize that things like Venezuela, the government's not managing the monetary system well enough any longer. I don't want them to have control over it, period, anymore. So, and I could go off about this in a lot of different ways and what government's doing, but just for time's sake, I won't do that for now. Maybe I'll save that for another show if you guys like this stuff. Cornel says, Nerdy Dude Stuff and CryptoWealth, do you guys have a website? If you don't and you want one, I may be able to help you guys. Well, Cornel, I don't know. Hit me up on Telegram or Discord. I'm not certain what you're talking about. I do maintain an email list and obviously maintain this channel. So you can always subscribe to my email list, anyone watching, and you can also obviously subscribe to my channel and hit that bell notification icon. All right, let's keep moving along. One thing I want to talk about Facebook Libra, though. XRP hodler, the irony XRP. One of the things that he said, was that Facebook Libra's about creating a tracking network. This is what most people currently do not understand, and they don't even think about it. Ladies and gentlemen, to protect yourself, to protect your family, and to potentially earn a massive income in this space, just think 2 or 3 levels deeper than everyone else. Keep in mind, most advertisements are written on a 5th grade reading level because most people aren't capable of reading and thinking too deeply. And I'm one of those people, by the way. Sometimes people explain stuff to me and I'm like, oh. In fact, as soon as he said this about Facebook Coin Libra, I hadn't thought of it either. So it's not like I'm brilliant in this, but I'm definitely going to shout what he said from the rooftop because it's amazing. Somewhere about 2/3 of the way through or 3/4 of the way through, he said something that was huge. And most people don't realize this about cryptocurrency. And that is the moment that someone understands your tracking, once someone has access to your wallet, then they can see everything that you're doing. Everywhere you're sending cryptocurrency, everywhere you're spending money, they can see all that. Currently, it's not a really big deal unless you're like a cryptocurrency whale and people are trying to hack you or whatever. It's not really a big deal right now, and part of that is because there's only so many places you can send cryptocurrency or you can buy things with cryptocurrency currently. But Facebook Coin Libra, they're talking about that, they have all these companies that are coming on board, everything from Spotify and potentially, a lot of other places that are going to come on board. A lot of individuals, you can send money to one individual or another. But the challenge with Facebook Coin Libra is, as far as we know, it's going to be connected to your Facebook account. So essentially your wallet, everywhere you spend quote unquote Libra, everywhere is 100% trackable. Your financial transactions will have zero privacy whatsoever. So the big thing is this, currently with Tron, you can see my Tron address. I've shown it on this channel before, but I can easily create another Tron address in a matter of seconds, like easily. And there's all sorts of things you can do to obscure your cryptocurrency transactions if you want to. But once your identity is linked to your wallet, that's the end of privacy. Even though I create multiple wallets, I can create multiple wallets for Tron or Bitcoin or Ethereum or anything else. And as long as I create multiple wallets, then it's possible to prevent you from there's kind of a pseudo anonymity there because you've got to figure out who is the person, where's the ID to connect to the wallet. Facebook Libra is attached to your Facebook account. Not only do they know you, they know your name, they know your likes and dislikes because they know your political leanings because you put it out there all the time. They know your way of thinking by what you like and what you don't like. An entire social profile is easily created based on what you put out there on Facebook. Facebook's amazing, and it's an interesting social experiment if you think about it, because if any company, we don't even have to say governments. Of course, we know if companies have access to it, then governments have access to it through their subpoena power. If the U.S. government or any other major government tried to subpoena Facebook, chances are they're going to comply. Same thing with Google. I mean, the Chinese government dictates what Google does all the time, and they comply all the time. So it's amazing because if any government would have said, we want you to fill out this profile so we understand who you are, what your likes are, what your dislikes are, and we're going to use it for our benefit. Or if any company would have said, hey, I want you to fill out a profile so I can know exactly what to market to you that you're most likely to buy. So I want you to tell me what books you like to read, what movies you like to watch. I want to be able to track what sort of things you choose to comment on, what sort of things you choose not to comment on, what sort of things you share in the social space, what types of things would you not share in the social space. If they would have told you, if any company would have come to you and said, hey, fill this out, you'd have been like, I'm not going to do that. That's none of your business. But we all put it out there freely. I shouldn't say we all. Most people put it out there freely on Facebook. Most people put it out there freely on Facebook, which is crazy. And now you're going to attach your cryptocurrency transactions to it as well, if you think about it. It's just, I don't even know what to say about that. Like, by the very essence, like if Satoshi would have wrote his white paper and said, oh, we want to create a good digital currency that people can easily use and that, can be centralized and have some form of centralized control, and there's no need for really having privacy. We just want it to be easier to transact online. Then everyone would have thought, what's the point of that? I mean, you got to understand, it is a cryptocurrency, which comes from cryptography. The very root of that is creating security and privacy, but primarily electronic security. It's just interesting. This is going to be an interesting space to be a part of, for sure. And I think we should continue to watch it. Now, one of the things that he says here, he says that he thinks the Facebook Libra coin could be very good for. Yeah, exactly, Manny. Now they're going to know everything about our wallet too. The Manny says Facebook know our family and friends each and everything. Now they know about our wallet too. Yeah, isn't that the truth? Isn't that the truth? Hang on just one moment. Let me. All right. So, do me a favor, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, hit that subscribe. I mean, hit that subscribe button, hit that thumbs up icon as well, because we're going to start talking about some good stuff next, for sure. Okay. One thing that he did talk about was Facebook Coin Libra could be used for Dapps, just like the Zynga stuff came to Facebook, and that could be interesting. It could be very interesting. And the question is, do you care if your identity is attached to all the dApps that you choose to be a part of and play? And maybe you don't. I mean, listen, some people don't care about privacy. Other people do. Most people don't know that they should care about privacy. That's the reality. All right. There is not a CryptoWealth server. I think on Discord I am CryptoWealth. Let me see. Oh, I don't have it up. Let me see on Telegram. I don't even know. I think it's CryptoWealth 0021, I believe. But let me see. I'll tell you. And it's the same thing on Discord. And I use Discord more than anything. I'm trying to figure out. I don't want to pull that up. I'll post it down below in the description once we're done. Oh yeah, thank you 0021. Thank you, nerdy dude. Appreciate it. CryptoWealth. Thank you. Appreciate it. All right. So let's talk about a couple of things coming up. And let me first say this: CryptoTab browser. I use this browser all the time. It's slow right now because I've got this recording software running, but it runs at close to about 200 hash per second when I got it on 2/3, which is where I keep it most of the time. I haven't done a withdrawal from here in a while, and I for a long time I was promoting this, and I just have gotten away from it because the Dapp space is just a better use of my time. But I really need to, when I see the Bitcoin price going up to 10,000, I really need to do more with this, and I'm trying to think about what I want to do with this. $261 US. I've gotten that for doing absolutely nothing other than just use. This is the primary browser that I use. I have it open all the time. I have my Tron wallet connected to it. I'm using it all the time. And this thing is it's just crazy. I got referrals. Let's see how many in the past 24 hours. 469. Sometimes it goes up to 700 or 800. My total all-time earnings, by the way, is $504. And I don't even actively promote this a ton anymore. And I haven't been advertising. I'm planning to run an advertising campaign soon. I just hadn't got to it. It's on my list of things I want to do. But I talk about it in my Crypto Passive Profits newsletter down in the description. I talk about it there a little bit. I'm going to be talking about it a lot more. But that's nuts for doing absolutely nothing. Now, there's the Bat browser out there, which is another browser with the basic attention token, and people like to talk about it, and people like it. I really don't care about the Bat browser, and I mean, I probably shouldn't say that. I mean, I appreciate what they're doing, but the irony of the Bat browser is to become usable, they're creating all these options for you to, now if you allow advertisers to advertise to you, now you can earn these basic attention tokens, which have a value, blah, 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 blah. So I don't even know if the Bat browser is going to work. I think it's a little bit ahead of its time ultimately, but here's what I know. I have more faith in the price of Bitcoin going up than I do in the Bat browser. So that's my thing, in the Bat token. So I use a CryptoTab browser. I love it. I love the referral mechanism. It's awesome. I get referrals every single day down here because I'm starting on level 1. I've got 2,000 referrals of mine on 2,200, and I again don't actively promote this heavily, but every day, somewhere down here, every single day. There's not a day to go by that I don't get new referrals added from someone down, in the list. And does it, pay out slow? Yes. People say this. Some of the comments I get on my other YouTube videos are things like, oh, but it uses energy. Okay, it uses your current computer resources. It doesn't skyrocket your electric bill. You're not going to notice your electric bill going up at all. It does use your current computer resources, your CPU or whatnot. And so what? It doesn't put, I don't notice it putting any massive strain on my computer resources than, most of what I do on my computer. So I don't really care about that. But here's what I do know. I personally believe that the price of Bitcoin is going to be such that it doesn't matter. Long term, I want to have as much Bitcoin, even if it's Satoshis. I want to have as much Bitcoin as I can long term. And this is a super passive, super passive way to be able to earn Bitcoin. But let's continue going. One day I'm probably going to put something together where I'm going to create an entire referrals list, teaching how to get referrals on the various dApps. But let's move on. Here we go. Let's talk about new tokens that I'm looking at investing in. Frag token. And primarily the reason I'm looking at this is because they're doing free airdrops. Now, if you're not familiar with Frag token, take a look at this. The first airdrop is already, I think it's too late to get in on the first airdrop because they said you had to post it in Discord before they made the announcement. So it's too late, but they're going to do multiple airdrops. So if you were a part of their Discord before and you'd already posted your address in Discord previously, then I think you can come here and paste your address here. The first token is they're going to give out 1,000 tokens in the first airdrop, 1,000 frags, and then it's going to go down from there. There's 10 million total supply, but here's what's interesting about frag: 1% token burn on every transfer. So every time you transfer, you sell, you buy the tokens. Okay, Nerdy Dude said Wave 2 starts a few days after Wave 1 completes, and it's 800 frag. Okay, so you can still get 800 free frag. By the way, that could add up. I'm going to show you something in a minute where it could add up to be potentially a good bit in USD value, potentially. Was another thing. So every time that you buy, sell, or transfer, basically everything that moves the frags out of your wallet or moves frags into your wallet, buy, sells, transfer to someone, whatever, using dApps potentially, it's going to do a 1% burn. So over time, there's going to be less and less and less of these tokens, and it can happen pretty fast. And naturally, when there's less of something, oftentimes, not always, oftentimes it can increase the price as long as there's a demand. Well, there's going to be a demand for frags in the beginning for sure because of history, and I'll get to the history on this in a moment. This has already been proven once. So, and I have an entire strategy for what I'm going to be doing with the frag token, and I'm not going to publicly talk about my strategy just because I'm just not going to, because I don't think it does good things to cover it. But this is my personal strategy. None of this is investment advice. None of this is investing advice. So I'm going to be covering my own personal strategy in the crypto passive crypto, whatever I call it, down my newsletter down in the description. Just hit the subscribe button there, and I will actually, by probably tomorrow or the next day, I'm going to put out specifically what my plan is, what my strategy is when it comes to investing in the frag token. Again, that's my strategy. That's not investment advice for you. I'm just going to let you know exactly what I'm planning to do. I'm going to send that out to my subscribers on my email list. So there's going to be a total of 10 million, and they're going to be getting airdropped. That's how they're primarily going out. Now, this is going to be big. I actually did ask a question in Discord, and if someone knows this, they can let me know. I asked if they have plans. If there are any dApps already planned, because see, when they create a dApp, any dApp, then in order to correspond with the dApp, it's going to, every transaction or every correspondence with the dApp, almost every action with the dApp creates transfers, and all those transfers are 1% burn, 1% burn, 1% burn. Let's see what some of you are saying. Corneo said, okay. Waba said, I think we have delusions of grandeur. We want freedom and money, but the U.S. government have exchanges reporting us have to pay taxes, even may Binance have no U.S. citizens. Um, well, but I'm glad that I don't think the way that you think. You're right in the fact of right now that we have to comply with U.S. government laws, but that's not delusions of grandeur. If there's ever comes a time when the U.S. government or any government messes up so bad, like in Venezuela, for example, if there ever comes a time where that happens, then you want to have you want to have an ability to do something different. And that something different right now is cryptocurrency. Nerdy Dude says, oh, Nerdy Dude is talking about frag. He said wave starts in a few days. Okay, there's going to be a total of 5 waves. Okay, each wave of airdrops is slightly smaller than the previous one. Wabai comes back and says, when it becomes too much, they will make their own crypto. Do you really think they will lose control? Yes, absolutely, Wabai. See, here's the thing. No one can stop you from transacting in Bitcoin. So Waba, W-A-B-A, says, when it becomes too much, they will make their own crypto. Yeah, that's exactly what I think could be going on with Facebook. It's possible there's some government funding backing Facebook doing this new coin, or it's not. It's possible the government's not messing with it. Facebook is a big business that sees an opportunity. I mean, how many of us who love cryptocurrency would not have already been excited by this space and would have already created some sort of project similar to what Facebook is doing with their own ideas? From that standpoint, it's exciting to see a big company get into crypto space. What's unfortunate is it could be co-opting the privacy, the security, the immutability in this space. See, Facebook can stop you from transacting in Libra, but nobody can stop you from transacting in Bitcoin. That's big. I hope you caught that. Bitcoin is confiscation resistant. It's very difficult to, in fact, it's confiscation proof. The only way you'll ever give up your Bitcoin, if you ever had to, was under the threat of harm to yourself or your family. That's the only way. But if you can keep it private where people don't know that you have it for any reason, then it's confiscation proof. Like, there's no way for them to even know. So then he says, well, I come back and says, one part I do get is I keep hearing people want the price of crypto to go up to exchange into fiat. That shows me that people just want crypto to become rich to get fiat. That's exactly right, Weba. That's exactly right. And that's where we're at right now. That's exactly where we're at. Weba says, don't get me wrong, Wealth. I believe in crypto. I just see how difficult it will be for us. Yes, absolutely. It is an uphill battle because there's a huge, and I talk about this all the time on my channel and on my streams, it's going to have to be a huge mentality shift. My biggest fear is a cryptocurrency movement somehow gets co-opted or stopped through regulation, meaning to the point that it's much more difficult to adopt. However, I think that all governments can do is make it difficult. I don't think they can ever truly stop it. And if the will of the people, for whatever reason down the road, becomes far greater than government's ability, because government cannot stop you from transacting in Bitcoin. They can make it hard. They can put threat of penalty that if for whatever reason, if you did, it's against the law or whatever. They can do all sorts of things like that, potentially. However, actually stopping it is darn near impossible. Paul says anyone who has had a post deleted and an account suspended or a transaction denies knows the danger of any kind of centralization. Paul is exactly right. Let me repeat what he said. Paul said anyone who has had a post deleted, meaning a Twitter post, a YouTube video, been there, done that, got the t-shirt, an account deleted or suspended, transaction denied, absolutely I've had transactions denied, then you understand the problem with centralization. It's that you can be controlled based off of rules preset by somebody else. All right. And Nerdy Dude said there are some dApps planned. I don't know what that looks like or how long. I really want to see dApps come out soon. I oftentimes find that these cryptocurrency projects get ahead of themselves a little bit, but maybe not. We'll see. Hopefully the developer gets some dApps out soon, because that's ultimately going to help drive this. So I told you history proved that this concept can work, and I wasn't talking about some sort of complicated U.S. history with inflation. I'm talking about the bomb token. So on my last stream, somebody talked about this, and I went and looked at it. It's very interesting. There is a Achilles heel to all these tokens. I'll cover that here in a moment. And when I talk about my personal strategy, I'm aware of that Achilles heel. So now I just did that. I don't know how long it's going to take for that to come through because I'm streaming. Oh, there we go. That was fast. Okay, so let's use USD value because it's the value that most people recognize. And Weba's right. We all oftentimes look at that. But let's look at, but USD value somewhat correlates to the BTC value as well. So let's just take a look at it. So this thing started way back here, actually before here. It started down to like 40 cents or something per BOM token. And BOM, basically, there's only 1 million BOM tokens, not 10 million. And they had, I think it was a 2% transfer burn, I believe. Maybe it was 1%, but it could have been 2%. It's important to note that there was a lot less BOM tokens. Literally, like only 1 million instead of 10 million. But the price has literally just went way up. I mean, it hit over here, it hit a big high of 11 US dollars USD. And then over here, it hit 12, 13 USD. And there's less and less and less of them. So it may continue to go up. Now, here's the Achilles heel. At some point, there's so few that there's not enough buyers and sellers in the market to be able to trade the coin. So at that point, you can have a lot, it can be worth a lot, but it's illiquid. There's just not enough people to buy or sell at some point. But here's all we have to know. This is probably going to happen on some level right here, this march up. And I think if you get in early, then that may be, again, giving you hints to my strategy. If you want my full strategy, subscribe to my email list. But that if you get in early, then I think there's some potential here. But it's a risky space, so who knows? Who knows what can happen? Now there's 10% more of them. There's 10 times more than them. So maybe the price drops goes in at around a nickel, and maybe it goes up to like $1. I don't know. I'm trying to figure out what was the thought pattern behind having 10 times more frags, but it might have been because they want to create dApps and they want to have the frag tokens available for dApps. And maybe it could be because they want it affordable for more people to feel like they can get a piece of the pie. But here's the deal. The first frag tokens, they're airdropping 1,000 tokens. So, if it did at the same rate, you're talking about that token going to $1. Those 1,000 tokens could equal, $1,000 one day. Maybe. I'm not saying that's going to happen. Here's the other thing. Oftentimes, clones, and frags is essentially a clone of BOM. Oftentimes, clones tend to have less effect. So who knows? Maybe it only hits 50 cents. I don't know. That's where the risk is, for sure. Let's see what we're talking about here. Weiba says for major adoption, it will also have to become as easy as using a debit card. Most people are 45 and up won't like to use private keys and copy and paste addresses. Weiba, I don't think that's an issue because I don't think we're going to hit the long term. You're right. It's going to have to become easier, but people over 45 won't even be, they'll be mad. I think we're 10, 20, 30, 40 years out from, at least from major crypto adoption. Decentralized crypto adoption, that is. Live was very interesting, but I don't get... Take care, Cornel. All right. So, here we go. Facebook will change the face of the world. Oh, God bless. There's bulls on everything. Hey, by the way, I'm not saying that I won't buy any Facebook Libra. Look, the price is going to spike at some point. The question is, can you let it spike and get out? I may totally speculate on it a little bit. Who knows? Here's the other thing you need to be aware of when you use Facebook Libra. The moment that you use any of your other wallets to transact with Facebook Libra, you've now connected yourself with all of your cryptocurrency transactions to your identity. If you care about that, some people aren't going to care about that. But you now, thank you, Dragon, you now have connected your identity across the board to every other wallet that you're connected to, from whatever wallet that you use, if you use a wallet to buy Facebook Libra. So buy Facebook Libra with a totally different Coinbase account or whatever you have to use, Facebook account. Keep it separate if you actually care about your privacy even a little bit. All right. So that's what's going on. So frags, I'm definitely in the airdrops for sure. There's no risk. There's absolutely no risk to frag token. So I'm going to be in the airdrop on that. I do think this airdrop's going on for a little while longer. So I do think that we're going to be able to potentially earn a little something for free, even if it's not a lot, just being part of the airdrops. But I am going to be doing some buying. Again, I'll discuss that more specifically for my email subscribers. All right. Dragon said, I subscribe to your channel. Thank you, thank you. All right, next up, let's talk about this. Can we? I do not play Counter-Strike, not in recent years. I have played it a lot in the past, Dragon. All right, let's talk about Blaze. This is so freaking awesome. They've just done a brand new UI update. This happened actually as I was preparing for this video. I literally came over here, refreshed the page, it went from gold to green. I knew it was happening, but it happened suddenly. Blaze Economy is the greatest Dapp in the Dapp space right now, period, end of story. And I can prove it to you here in a moment, but I will tell you this, one thing about it, everybody likes to see dividends. I got paid over 2,000 Tron in dividends today, which was, what? 2,072 US dollars in current in USD value, just to give you an idea. So that's nuts. That is nuts. And I cover my entire Blaze strategy on my Crypto Passive Profits newsletter. I cover that completely. And I'm going to be adding to that. And there's an entire autoresponder series. You get an email every single day. The first email talks about the CryptoTab browser. After that, the next several emails talks about Blaze Economy. Now, sup, Gun GG, welcome. Best channel on YouTube. Thank you, Dragon. Thank you. What is your question? You can ask it. I'll check in a minute. So here's the thing about Blaze Economy. First and foremost, you have to understand that it is a beatable game, and I'm actually going to run an entire. I'm going to be doing this. I'm going to be updating this for my email list, basically. But I'm going to restart it. I was gone for a week on the cruise, and it kind of messed up my entire strategy. But each week I'm gonna just do my best. I get Tron to this particular wallet. I get Tron, a couple from Tron Bet dividends, which isn't a lot, and I get a little bit of Tron from having some Tron staked, frozen, and I do have a little bit frozen, by the way, 17,000 frozen. So I get a little bit of Tron for having each day or so for having that frozen. But it's not much. But for the overwhelming amount, what I'm gonna do, I mean, this number here is what I have. Sorry, this number. That's not it. This number here is what I have that's unfrozen in my wallet. So I'm gonna start each week, and I'm gonna track just to prove that you can play Blaze Machine, because I fully believe it. I'm just gonna run an experiment to prove it. You can play Blaze Machine and play it profitably, where you don't actually lose Tron. It's the first Dapp I've seen where I believe that you can absolutely win it. So that's going to be awesome. And I'm going to run that entire strategy. And I have a video. Just basically all you do is you roll on Blaze Machine, and based on what your roll is, I always choose the same direction, high. If you choose high and you get a high number, so right here, throw back, put in, bet 200 Tron. He chose high. He rolled 71, which was over 50 basically. So he got 269. So he essentially made a profit on those Tron. He can sell those Tron right now. He can sell those points right now at a rate of 0.97 Tron. So at 1, he'll get a perfect payout of 269.8 for his points. He'll get 269 Tron right now. If he sold less than that, because the less than 1, the rate's less than 1, he's going to get a little less. When the rate's over 1, he'll get more than that. So he literally can earn more than the 269. He can earn more than that when the rate's over 1. It's important for you to know that the points exchange rate has like a 5% fee built in. So what that means is when he got a 71, he actually got 5% less points awarded to him than what he should have if there was like 0 fee built in. So he basically paid 5% in points that he did not win. Keep that in mind. That's 5% in points that he did not win. So how does he break even? He makes certain that when this rate goes above 1.05, which happens pretty often, Here's the rate alert. Let's see. And this isn't even 100% accurate, by the way, because rate only goes out once every 5 minutes. Sometimes the rate will cross 1, and then 2 or 3 minutes later it'll cross 1.05, and you don't always get that alert. But you can see, let me go all the way down. So you can see just since, let's see if we can go to that. I'm just going to yesterday. How many times we crossed over 1? So say yesterday, I think 12. Oh, so we're at 3 right now. Last time we crossed 1.05 was this morning at 11:32. And yes, I missed that, unfortunately. So let's go to 11:32 a.m. This is yesterday. So this is pretty close here at 12 p.m. yesterday. So look how many times we crossed in 24 hours. How many times we crossed over 1? We crossed over 1.05, which is where you break even, and everything over that you can earn a profit. So 1, 2. There was 1.10, which means you got a 5% edge in your favor when you roll on Blaze Machine, and you're able to sell above 1.10. My goodness. Another 1.05. These are all within 24 hours. Now, when it goes low, there's an advantage to that I cover in the strategy. Look, we hit 1.2 in the past 24 hours. 1.3. It actually hit 1.5, but the alert didn't go out. Because again, notice there's 5 minutes between this alert. Alert will not go out more than. So what you're seeing here, it happens. Nerdy dude said it was like 1.5 this morning. Yes, 1.5, ladies and gentlemen, 1.5. That means you're rolling with a 45% edge in your favor, or you're selling with a 45% edge in your favor. The key is roll basically when you want, but you have to be able to sell at the right time. And there's more to it, and I cover my entire strategy on my email list. But when the rate is low, like right now, you actually get a bonus to earning the Blaze token. See, we're not even talking about the Blaze token. That's why this Dapp is so incredible. We're not even talking about the Blaze token right now. Please understand. We're not even talking about the Blaze token. And we've got to pull this up here in a minute because somebody just posted that article. We'll look at that in a minute. So, cleaned up my wallet yesterday. It's a shame. So when you roll, you're getting tokens every roughly 1,000 or so. Where's it at? It should be listed over here. Every per 1,000 points. Where's it at? They've changed the UI, so I'm not. Dividends already for the day is 483 with 17 hours to go. I'm not seeing it. I think it's every Tron wagered, basically. Every 1,000 Tron wagered roughly gets you a Blaze. But when the price is low, it's when the price is low, then basically you get a bonus on the Blaze that you earn. And Blaze tokens earn dividends. And I currently have 3,000 Blaze tokens. You can't auto mine the Blaze tokens. You can unfreeze instantly. You can sell on Tron Trade. They're listed on Tron Trade now if you wanted to. People do that. I think it is absolutely stupid to unfreeze and sell your Blaze. That is my personal opinion. I say that very strongly. But I mean, I've never seen anything pay out like this as consistently as this is. And it can't be artificially. The game can't be artificially pumped and dumped because there's no way to auto mine it, so to speak, in that way. So the UI is updated, the format is updated. So this, if you've seen my other videos, this is going to make it much easier to play on mobile device because I was trying it on the cruise and you had to switch back and forth to be able to roll, to see the exchange rate. Now you can do it all right here on one screen when you play this machine. You can just do the whole thing right here. Kings is the same, it hasn't changed other than people have been winning the jackpot. Battles is new. Battles is totally brand new. And I see some of you are chatting and I'll get to that in a moment. So here's the thing in battles. Look at all these battles. So in battles, basically, it's like a coin flip. Someone puts up a battle. Anybody can list a battle, and you come here and play them, and you click on it and play them. And if you win, it's basically a coin flip with the winner gets like minus 5%, and that 5% goes towards the rate, and it goes towards dividends, and 2% goes to. 1.5% goes to the developers and 0.5% goes to marketing and promotions. So that's battles. And that was newly launched today. Also, there's a brand new update coming. There's a new game coming out. It's kind of a ladder game. They discussed it earlier in the chat. Let's see if they're talking about it here in this major update. Oh, come on. New UI, they talked about that. Blaze Battles, they talked about that. Player tags, okay. Weekend contest. I'm going to get to this because I think this is the potentially biggest development so far. So far. Yeah, Nerdy, go set up a 100 TRX battle. I'll play you on it. I mean, I was going to play one of Rack Balls, but I'll play yours just because you're a viewer. Nerdy dude, go set up a 100 TRX battle and I'll play it. So, new UI, we've already talked about that. Blaze Battles, let's just cover this. We'll also be releasing our third game to the Blaze economy. This is another player versus player game, but with a far lower edge than Kings. Blaze Battles will have the same 5% edge on machines, 2% to divs, 1% to exchange, 1.5% to devs, 0.5% to marketing and promo, but will allow you to challenge other players in a 1 vs 1 dice roll for a predetermined amount of Tron. The player who creates a challenge can select between 100 and 100,000 Tron as a challenge. 1 Blaze is mined per 1,000 Tron wagers. Here's how it works. Player 1 creates a battle challenge for 100 Tron. Player 2 can create their own challenge or accept Player 1's challenge. Let's say that Player 2 decides to challenge Player 1. Player 2 will put up 100 Tron, and both players are locked in and ready to battle. A random number is drawn between 1 and 99. The number drawn is 35. Player 2, the challenger, will win. The bet times 2 times number drawn times 95 divided by 10,000, so they end up with 65.5 Tron. That's all that matters. Player 1, the challenger, will win 123 Tron. So it's not a winner-take-all kind of thing. Let's come over here. Nerdy said he put up a battle. Let's see if it's listed. Here it is. So he and I will play it. I'll do it now. See me the challenge. See how it plays out, because I don't even know. Interesting. Closed. There we go. Wow. Nerdy. I appreciate that. You couldn't win much more than that. Jeez. Yeah, I did. Holy smokes. So in this case, for example, I won 188. I won 88.1 Tron. He got 1.9 back. But just to give you another idea, the boss plus Blazing King, well, those are big ones. Let's look at something in the middle. So right here, he hit 50. Blazing King got 475. The boss got 475. So this is just another game basically battling each other with their Tron. But here's the biggest benefit to this. It pushes the rate up. Just like if you understand how Kings work, Kings pushes the rate up. Battles also push the rate up. So it creates continued upward pressure on the rate. And what that does is creates consistent, basically, this creates a consistent, what's the word I'm looking for? Upward pressure on the rate, so it adds more volatility. So we get more chances to roll. By the way, more chances to, if you're the kind of player who wants to win Tron, and you're not, just trying to gamble it up, then you're playing when the odds are in your favor, or you're trying to play only when conditions are in your favor. And you can't fully control it. There are times that you'll start rolling, the rate's really high, it could be 1.05, 1.10, and all of a sudden the rate drops. Well, just because of the delay of the Tron blockchain, you may end up selling some points lower than you wanted to. But that's totally okay. It's not a big deal. That's not a big deal at all. I think that you can play this and win Tron, and I'm going to track it. I'm going to do my best to track it each week. Anything over a few Tron that comes to my wallet from any miscellaneous space, I'm just going to freeze that Tron. But this balance right here, I'm going to track it week to week, playing Blaze Machine, because that's the main thing that I'm going to do with this wallet is play Blaze Machine, and of course pull my divs out as well. But I'm gonna attempt to try to keep track of my divs, so that way I can tell you that outside of divs what I'm actually earning outside of divs. And I expect to break even or earn. I actually don't expect to break even. I actually expect to earn some Tron for sure on Blaze Economy. All right, let's see what you guys are all saying. Yep, Nerdy, it's in the history. But he did awesome against Rackball today. That's awesome. All right. Dragon had a question. Let's see. All right. Nerdy said he freezes about 50,000 Tron. Nerdy Dude Stuff said he freezes about 50,000 Tron. And he gets about 10 Tron a day. Just in passive. That's probably the most, that's like CryptoTab browser. That's about the most passive thing that you can do. Plus, you're also voting. If you don't understand what that's all about, you're voting, you're helping secure the network, etc., etc. Dragon Bacon says, how are parents to learn e-marketing and some parents do not know in digital currencies? I think the issue is difficult for parents. The new generation knows more than the father and the mother. What do I say about that? I think there's a lot of really smart people out there, but this will always be the case, Dragon. When you become 50, 60 years old, new technology, you're going to be slower to adapt it. You're going to be less likely to believe that it will take hold. So you'll be less likely to, to adapt it. Look, I was slow to adapt Facebook. I was slow to adapt social media in general, outside of YouTube. I mean, and I didn't start a YouTube channel for a long time, but I saw YouTube as a benefit early on. But like, I did not fully get Facebook at all in the beginning, just because I thought I just didn't see it. I didn't. And now it's amazing to me how many millennials, their life between Pinterest, Instagram, and Facebook, their life depends upon it. Like when I first saw YouTube videos where guys were picking up girls because they were like Instagram famous, I thought, wow, I did not realize we were all that shallow. But really and truly what I did was I underestimated the understanding that people have for social media, or the acceptance that they have for social media. So the only point I'm saying is I think the older population, no matter what comes along, will always be slower to adopt. This was true for debit cards. I mean, when debit cards came around, there's the older population, when debit cards were new, the older population wouldn't stop writing checks. There's no exception to that. That is always 100% going to be the case. But it's not a big deal. It doesn't actually matter. Technology will always occur. And, it's at some point, the demand for the technology or the adoption of the technology basically forces others to adopt. And you either adopt or die. And die is a strong word, but you either adopt or you don't. I mean, and I've got people my parents' age, and my mom's I'm older than a lot of people in the space, but my mom I'm not a millennial, put it this way. But my mom my mom doesn't have a Facebook account. She doesn't know anything about it. But my mother-in-law, and they're about the same age, by the way, is very savvy. She has an Instagram account and a Facebook account, and, she knows how to use it and all this stuff. My mom has no clue at all. And like trying to explain to her that I saw a family member on Facebook or something on Facebook, in my mind, I try to figure out what does she thinks that's all about, So it's just... It just is what it is, but that doesn't ever stop technology. The biggest thing for technology is, I will agree with way by earlier, that we just have to get to a place that it becomes more and more user-friendly. And I think that we're well on our way to becoming wallets. I mean, many of you, when you first looked at cryptocurrency, 5 years ago, 8 years ago, 6 years ago, however long it was, before Mt. Gox went down, if you know what Mt. Gox was, like back then, there wasn't a lot of good choices for wallets. There was no Exodus wallets. There was no Ledger Nano S's. You had to create a paper wallet. Most people in cryptocurrency at this very moment could not create a paper wallet to save their life. They could not do it. Despite the fact that it's the most secure wallet, it's one of the most private wallets you can be able to create, most people could not create a paper wallet right now. But technology in this space is adopted, so you haven't had to sacrifice a lot of security. It's still pretty secure, but it's also very usable. And that right there is the conundrum of cryptocurrency, ladies and gentlemen, is it has to be usable, user-friendly as possible, while still maintaining the decentralization that many of us want it to have in order for it to lead to economic freedom long term. Otherwise, centralization will always be more usable. For example, we could probably interact with this contract, Blaze Economy contract, without even needing the UI. Do I know how to do it right now? No, I don't. But is it possible? Yes. But we rely on the developers, which is a form of centralization, to rely on a central power, if you will. We rely on the developers to create this thing in such a way that it's simple. but the underlying cryptocurrency mechanism is on a decentralized blockchain. And so that's what we don't want to see the blockchains becoming centralized. We don't want to see the blockchains becoming manipulated. When that happens, then we're definitely in trouble. And one way that happens is Facebook's proven that they can create the cryptocurrency blockchain, but the way that they keep the blockchain itself centralized is by removing all privacy. Even though they say it's somewhat private, it's not. They remove all privacy by connecting your identity to your wallet. That's extraordinary. And that's not a positive development long term. It might be positive. It might be a necessary step to get to Bitcoin mass adoption. It might be a necessary step, but it's a step that makes me a little bit nervous. And with that being said, there's probably a chance to be able to profit from the speculating on the price of that cryptocurrency, because I personally believe the price is going to go up. Not financial advice. I'm just a commentator. I love the space. This is not in any way, shape, or form my primary business or my expertise. It's just something I'm passionate about and I like to talk about. So I appreciate you all being here today. If there aren't any more questions, we'll go ahead and wrap this up. Thank you so much for being here. If you like this longer format, if this is something that you'd like to see me do once a week or so, then let me know. I'll try to do it on Saturdays. I may still could attempt to do this another 2 or 3 Saturdays. I'll try to do it on Saturdays. The challenge is I oftentimes travel. Like next week, I'll be away from home and unavailable for an entire hour to stream. So thank you so much for being here today. Thank you for being a part of this. This entire cryptocurrency space is extraordinary. I mean, just today, what I covered alone, these are all newsworthy developments that occurred this week alone. Think about how fast this space is moving, and just thinking about what we're a part of. This is frontline history right now, ladies and gentlemen. We are on the front lines of an economic, technological, privacy, liberty, foundational shift. I believe it with everything in me. Thank you for being here. Have a great day, everyone.